So in this video I want to show you how I transfer my drawing onto my watercolour paper. So I do my drawing, the sketch of what I'm doing, on a normal bit of sketch paper or printer paper, whatever I have to hand. I'll do that drawing on that normal bit of paper first. So you can see I've got lots of bits of rubbing out, sketch marks all over the place, and it's this stage where you start working out where you want things. You're rubbing out and doing lines over and over again, and you sometimes get bits where you can't rub it out so well. That's what you do onto the paper for, because this is where you can make your mistakes, you can rub them out, and you can move things around. If you were to start doing that on your watercolour paper, you would end up with a lot of these areas like this, where you can't actually rub it out again and it starts to damage the paper. So watercolour paper is a lot softer. You can see the kind of fibres on the paper, and if you start rubbing out and scrubbing and putting pencil onto it, you start to wear the paper out and you start to get more of these lines that you can't get rid of as well. So you might have been having a problem with that before. So sketch it out onto your normal paper first, and then I get a bit of tracing paper, sketch over the top, and I can then draw on exactly the lines that I want to copy and ignore the rest. Position it where I want it to go on the paper. Then I draw over the back of the line, put it down onto my watercolour paper. Again, I can position it wherever I want it to go, and then draw back over the line. And because I've gone over the back of all of these lines, the pressure of going over these will push the graphite on the back of this onto my watercolour paper. So I don't need to press really hard. I don't want to make any grooves or dents in the paper, but it will just lightly pop that onto the paper like that. And then you've not got any of those lines or smudges or damage to your paper, and then you're ready to get painting. So as a little example, you can also do it without the tracing paper. So you could do a little leaf, for example, on your drawing paper, turn it over, try and see where that is and just cover that area with some of your pencil. I just find this a bit harder to see where things are, and then place that down on your watercolour paper, go over that. So let me do this on this because I don't want to ruin that now. So just trace directly back over that leaf, and that will then pop a nice light version onto your watercolour paper. You can always go over that a little bit if you need to, but you ideally want your drawing to be quite light on your paper anyway, because you don't want, well, I don't like too many of my lines to show through my watercolour paint, unless that's the effect that I'm going for. So there you go, that is how I transfer my sketch onto my watercolour paper without ruining my paper.